kind of getting a little bit of a late start today, but had a couple things to do beforehand, but we're out here. Beans are, you know, pretty outstanding back here at the farm. This is where we no-tilled them into, you know, some rye. You can kind of see some of it down there, but for the most part it's all knocked down and laying over. Pretty happy with these beans. They're really nice and clean. The combine's doing a great job. I believe the moisture's 12%, somewhere in that ballpark. So I mean, they're a little bit dry, but they're about 8%. Maybe not these beans exactly, but you know, the local mill, you know, had a couple that come in at 8%, and it was like, whoa, we're getting dry. But so we probably got about an inch of rain over the last week. That really brought the moisture back up. And it also kind of took us out of the field for a couple days, but you know, for the most part, it just, you know, rehydrated those beans. So that's a good thing that we had that rain. So we're back out here. We're getting the soybeans in. We're cutting the headlands off of this field, and we're gonna try to bin basically the entire field, or as much as we can here, because this is probably the most clean fields that we have, because we're right here on the farm and we can kind of micromanage it a little bit more. Why does that keep pushing? Anyways, so we're trying to bin, you know, as many beans as we got here. I mean, the prices aren't really the greatest right now, so hopefully in the winter or sometime in the early spring, the prices will go back up. I don't get why it's doing that. I really don't.
Hey, Zane.
Yeah, what's up?
So why don't you cut that headland off and turn around and cut the headland off again and come back on the side by the corn?
Yeah, that was my plan. I'm kind of fighting the rye right now. It's jamming up my cutter bar again.
Okay, you want to quit?
I don't know if it's the patches of like really heavy rye. I'm not, or it didn't quite, you know, break down or what. Oh, we got a hole in the auger. We're done for the night. It's too sticky out. The beans will go, but the rye that's we no-tilled into there, I think got a little too tall on us. And then when I'm going to cut it, it's just clogging up my cutter bar, and then I can't do anything. It just keeps pushing every 6 feet or so. A little frustrating. That's all we're gonna do for tonight. I dumped on the J&M there. We got a whole little system up. I will show you. This spring I really battled with the pods coming out of the bin, so we're going to try to clean the pods out of the beans a little bit better. I'm going to park this, let it cool down, and then we'll get to trying that whole system out. I'm kind of looking forward to what that's going to do. I gotta get my mask. We're gonna climb up to the top, and I'm gonna make sure it's going in the right bin. We're all good. A little pile in there for the granary to run on for a little bit. I'll come shut it off after dinner. I'm gonna check on that hole on that auger though, because that's interesting. Well, that's not cool. I don't know what we're going to do about that. Maybe fill it with some silicone for the year. Alright, well, that's going to do it for today. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Morning! It's a beautiful day to cut some soybeans, huh? The dew's still pretty on. Pretty on, yeah, that's a word. That's a sentence. I got a new sensor I'm going to put on. The return elevator speed sensor isn't working on this right now. And you know, I just haven't had time to really take it apart and fix it. I took it apart, cleaned the old sensor, and it wasn't the old sensor, so we got a new one, and hopefully that'll fix that problem. I mean, it's not necessarily a problem. I can just hit mute on the alarm, but it'd also be nice to be able to tell when it stops turning. So there's the sensor right there. I'll do all that after I blow the combine off, just so it's clean, and then I'm gonna grease everything. We'll get the leaf blower, blow this thing off. I know I got a guard I need to change. I saw it was bent last night, and then we'll get going. Should be a good day. Looks like the PTO needs a little bit of oil. And there's absolutely no wind right now. I say that as the wind starts blowing, but it's not very fast, so it's gonna be fun blowing the combine off today. Nice and dusty. Okay. I didn't put it on tight enough when I put it back on. Mainly because it fought me coming off. So I was afraid of putting it back on too tight. This one we'll put on tight. There we go. Okay, now we'll grease it. After a little bit of running around, I got Dimitri going on the disc. Well, I got him lunch and fuel. So he's good to go for the rest of the day. And well, now I got this thing running. I got to change one guard and then we'll go. I guess I didn't hit record, but I got it changed. Just putting her back together now. So right about here, the dew started setting in. Well, actually it started in way up there. But with the rye, the rye picks up the dew a lot quicker than the soybeans. So the soybeans were still dry and they were running through the machine good, but the rye was just plugging the the knife sections up, and it was pushing beans really bad. You know, I was messing with all the settings. I thought it was the combine doing it, but it was actually the rye. And well, I got a little frustrated and, you know, shut the camera off. But, you know, now that we know what it exactly is, you know, I know to call it quits rather than, you know, pushing mounds everywhere, because these two passes are kind of, there's a couple of them in there, and they don't look pretty, but there's nothing really to them. And I don't really want to go back and pick them up because, you know, they're full of dirt. I don't really want to run more dirt through the machine than I really have to. I mean, soybeans you're already going to run a little bit, but I don't need to run extra. Other than that, last night went great, and they're going great right now. Well, we were going along smoothly, and that thing shut off. I went and shut the door, but it filled the auger, and everything plugged up on me. This is full of beans right now. Every time I turn it on, it trips the breaker, and that motor down there, electric motor right there, it's just hot. So I gotta figure out how to get these beans out of here. That's gonna take forever doing it that way. All right, well, I got all the grain out of the screens. What we're gonna have to do is, I mean, it sucks that this is packed full of beans right now because I couldn't get to it fast enough, but we'll just have to pull the cleaner out of the way and It sucks, but don't really have an option. We just moved the wagon back over to the auger and got it moving again. We're gonna get the combine moving again since the granary is moving again. Dad's gonna handle that there. He'll watch that go in, and well, I'll watch some beans go into the tank of the combine. It's 7:30. The sun went down. I mean, it's still kind of up a little bit, but you know, the backside of the hill way back there on the sand, it was in the shade before the rest of the field. And while I plugged up a couple times on the backside of that hill, the cutter bar got cut up. The rye that we no-tilled into gets wet before the soybeans do, or the stalks of the soybeans do from the dew. Try to say that 10 times fast. But, you know, the cutter bar has a hard time cutting it when it's wet. You know, it's like trying to go mow your lawn after a rain with a pair of scissors. You know, it just wants to bend over rather than actually get cut. So, you know, we're just gonna call it a night. The granary's full. The wagon outside of the granary's full. The cart's gonna be full here in a second. You know, I got a long night ahead of me of just, you know, checking on the granary, making sure, you know, it's filling the bin and make sure the bin's not full. And well, you know, that's gonna do it for us tonight. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.